Hey, what's up, friend? You are you interested in lack of skill? Yeah. Or maybe some suck. I'm just a new guy for the love of game. We don't go, I know it's bad. Times have changed, but not my mad. Don't you know that games are my thing? Yeah, I know it's getting real late. Come on, look at me. I even do storytelling. Also, podcasts on great game subjects. Okay, yeah, I'm not a Markiplier or a PewDiePie. But hey, that's what makes me so unique, right? Right? And hello, everybody. It is I, NikoTheLegend, also known as the well-mannered teenager, Snowflake, Rambling Idiot, and Vigil. And maybe some other few nicknames that I didn't give myself. They were just passed down from great people around the planet on how they truly felt about me during whatever video or playing a game with me or something like that. Listen here, folks. Here at the Niko podcast, we're talking, oh man, this kind of just sprung up out of nowhere, sprung a leak in my brain thinking about this and imagining how everyone else is feeling about the topic we are discussing today, which is why AAA titles they're just a waste of time. That's the generic broad thing that I'm saying here. And there's a very good reason why they're a waste of time. Now, there's many more reasons why we're going to dive into this on why I think it's a waste of time, but it may not be so cut and dry as you're thinking as you hear this bold statement, but bear with me. We'll get to that. But anyway, hey everybody, thanks for coming to the Niko Show. How are you? Welcome. It is just Niko today. I don't have my faithful companion Carolyn with me because schedules are pretty busy in general, and it's the holidays, so you know that goes. So I'm just rolling solo, and plus I'm talking about something that I'm going to assume that she probably doesn't care too much about. But Carolyn's great. We'll see her again back on the show. And I don't have a soundboard. I don't know what happened to my soundboard. It's just gone. It's fucking gone. I don't know what happened. We're going to be talking about monkeys later in this, in this show. Maybe monkeys came in and took my soundboard digitally. Hacker monkey they hacked me by surprise, and I don't know. It's been a long day. Some good things happening around here in the Niko Keep or Castle, whatever the heck you want to call it, or just home. Been cleaning all day, getting this episode kind of out of the way. It's like filler, a nice break in between where I can just ease into the day because we're doing a lot of cleaning and stuff like that. I have a friend that's going to stay with me for a week, and I'm excited as all hell about it. And this is the first time I've ever had somebody stay at my place specifically for a week. So I'm trying to be a good host and making sure it doesn't look like shit in here. Although I might take a shit on the floor later as soon as I come with my friend back to my place. I'm just gonna tell her, I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna go in the closet and take a shit. And then she's like, what the fuck? And then she just leaves, and then here we are. Nah, I'm kidding. You guys are funny. You guys think I'm freaking crazy weirdos. I know you're thinking I'm some kind of nut job. Well, yeah, it's fine. This is where I go to practice my crappy stand-up nothingness. So, folks, yeah. So we should plan on going back to talking about Carolyn. We're gonna get her back on the show sooner than later. We got a fun episode to do. It's surprisingly it's going to be about gaming too, but it's not going to be something that you have seen on the channel before when it comes to gaming. This is going to be a really interesting thing we're going to be discussing. So if you're hearing this episode, if you're out there and you're excited for that little premise going on, well, I hope to see you on the next one. But hey, if you're here now, I appreciate it. Thank you. If you like what you see, feel free to just like the channel, subscribe, check me out on Spotify. The links will all be down below. I can't stress it enough. I'm stressing so hard, I'm starting to get crow's feet even faster now. This is like my entire face went into a time machine. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know. Just skipping ahead too fast. These holidays are making me crazy. What are you guys doing for the holidays? Let me know down in the comments below. Are you staying in town? You got people coming over? Are you gonna wish you cut off your arm last year and you realized it was the best decision you ever made? That's a question that you should keep in your head because it's going to be relevant. I altered what we're talking about today. We're bringing back the weird news articles, okay, this time around. for some reason, I just go through these weird phases where I'm like, I don't feel like talking about weird news. I just want to get straight to the topic. Probably because the topic is something that I've been wanting to discuss, and I just don't want to wait anymore. I'm an impatient guy, but here we are. So, yeah, like I said, this episode is going to be talking about AAA games, AAA titles, where you spend a hefty price. And anybody who says it's not a hefty price, there's something, I hate to say it, but what are you smoking? Answer down in the comments below on what you're smoking. I'd like to know that too. Just kidding. Don't oust yourself there. Opt out. Just do it. No, but seriously, why? And I'm a little guilty about this myself, of course. I am guilty of spending full price on games. And we're going to talk about the psychology behind it and yada, 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 some boring stuff. But I wanted to break it down. I wanted to peel it apart. I want to peel it like Shrek's onion brain. I want us to understand why we are spending this kind of money on these AAA titles. What happens? What goes through our mind? Why do we just open our wallets and we realize our credit cards are fully maxed out and there's nothing left but a missing condom and just the wrapper? I don't know. You guys will let me know. Maybe? No? Okay. Well, I thought I'd give it a shot. So, before we get into that, we're going to talk about the weird articles we have today. So I hope you like the picture and the PNG tuber Niko. I know, it's a little weird to get used to at first, but I don't want to show my ugly mug because, like I said, I've been cleaning this whole time. And after this, I gotta do my bed. It's gotta be clean, right? It's gotta be clean. I can't have a fucking guest over. My bed's fucking dirty. That's gross. I also gotta play drones, and then I know it sounds like a hard day, but I already did most of the cleaning, worked out today, trained, got into yoga. Third session of yoga. I like to thank my hot yoga instructor. Not like hot as in like looks white. Well, she is hot, but besides the point. But she is a legit hot yoga instructor, and she kicks so much ass. I train her in personal training, and then we kind of do this bartering system where she teaches me yoga. I need to start getting into the other side of the spectrum with my body by loosening things up, because after a workout, I don't want to fucking do anything afterwards. I just want to just lay there in a puddle of just sweat and tears and occasional fecal matter, but I do that when the ladies aren't around. Ladies, you've been warned. But yeah, yoga's a lot of fun. It is challenging. I enjoy it though. It's a good way to keep the ego in check and to make sure I don't die from knee, lower back pain, or shoulder pain from years to come. Or maybe tomorrow. Anyway, you guys should try it out. I recommend it. So, are we ready? I mean, this is really weird without a soundboard, but whatever. Bear with me. Pretend there's an encore applause going on. Are you guys ready to... Are you ready? Not for the holidays. Not for New Year's Eve or whatever, your resolution. That stuff is crap anyway. You guys shouldn't fall for that. You're smarter than that. Just like buying a new iPhone every year. Why would you wait in line to pay $800 for missing features and something added? Oh, a better camera? There's only so many pixels the eyes can see, especially on a small screen, right? I digress. That's something else we can talk about that some other time. Less interesting topics. But are you ready for the weird news of the week? There's 2 articles. There's one about monkeys and there's one about cutting your arms off. Yeah, this is a stark contrast between the two. So we're going to start it off with something a bit more cheerful. It sounds kind of fun, We all like monkeys and stuff. We can all agree to that. That's something that Thailand does, They celebrate Feast Day. I think that was pretty cool. I was reading through this article and I decided to stop midway because I kind of wanted to be surprised reading this stuff because I want to give you an honest reaction on this. So we're all caught up. We're all hearing this or watching this, and we're like, "What the fuck is going on right now?" Not so much the monkey part, but the other article. You'll see in a second. I haven't dabbled with that. I just saw the headline. I'm like, "Okay, this is going." It replaced the camel contest that Qatar did for besides the fucking soccer World Cup thing. Who cares? Is anybody watching that really? Like, who gives a shit? Sorry, this is my personal opinion about soccer. I don't really care about soccer at all. El football. Not football Americana, but the El football. Alright, so, without further ado, thousands of monkeys celebrate Feast Day in central Thailand, and it's bananas. Look, I didn't write this. Donkey Kong. Wish he would have wrote this, but we can blame No, he didn't. Yeah. This would have been a lot more funnier if Donkey Kong did write this, or, I don't know, any other famous chimpanzee cartoon character or something like that, or video game icon. But anyway, I didn't know this. Thailand celebrates feast day with monkeys, and I think that's great. I don't know if monkeys are actually celebrating. I think they're just eating food, and they're just fighting over it. So, Lopburi, sorry if I butcher this. If anyone's from Thailand or anybody who knows these words and names, yeah, it's going to happen. Province annually holds the festival as a way to show gratitude to the monkeys for bringing in tourism. The poor monkeys, they can't just catch a fucking break. They just want to eat food, damn it. So, a meal fit for monkeys was served on Sunday at the annual Monkey Feast Festival in central Thailand. Feed the homeless monkeys. Amid the morning traffic, rows of monkey statues holding trays were lined up outside the compound of the ancient three pagodas? Anyway, I think it's cool that they have a bunch of statue of monkeys holding food. I think that's pretty cool. While volunteers prepared food across the road for real monkeys, the symbol of Lopburi province, around 150 kilometers north of Bangkok, throngs of monkeys ran around, at times fighting with each other while the crowds of visitors and locals grew. Yeah, it's because they want to put money down. Instead of chicken fighting, they want to see monkey fighting, you know? Michael Vick better not get any weird ideas. Fuck that guy. As the carefully prepared feast was brought toward the temple, the ravenous creatures began to pounce and were soon devouring the largely vegetarian spread. Hey, lady, you want to see my vegetarian spread? No, because that's gross. I wonder if the monkeys, what would happen if there was meat involved. But hey, a good diet for the monkey population is always a plus. While the entertainment value of the festival is high, organizers are quick to point out that it's not just monkey business. And once again, I wish I had my soundboard because that was terrible. It's like I wrote this. This Monkey Feast Festival is a successful event that helps promote Lopburi's tourism among international tourists every year, said Younguth Ketawat. Okay, sorry. The festival's founder. Just try to rake in that money. When in doubt, when in Monkey Town, use monkeys. Previously, there were around 300 monkeys in Lopburi, before increasing to nearly 4,000 nowadays. But Lopburi is known as a monkey city, which means monkeys and people can live in harmony. Until they start throwing shit at you when you're trespassing. That's the, yeah. Instead of shotguns in America, you know, boom, yeah, it's going to be throwing poo at you. Such harmony could be seen in the lack of shyness exhibited by the monkeys, which climbed onto visitors and started eating their brains. I'm just kidding. Vehicles and lampposts. And taking more shits. At times, the curious animals looked beyond the abundant feast and looked in interest in other items, like mating? Other mates? No? Okay. There was a monkey in my back as I was trying to take a selfie. Ripping my eyeballs out. Oh, wow. I grabbed my tongue. He grabbed the sunglasses right off my face and ran off onto the top of a lamppost and was trying to eat them for a while. Yeah, well, you know, you give them food, they want to start eating more things. Pretty soon people are next. Said Alicia Bat, an English teacher from California working in Thailand. The delighted onlookers were largely undeterred by the risk of petty theft, although some were content to exercise caution. Well, I mean, you are tourists, and the monkeys know it, and you're wearing tourist items like the sunglasses, the cheap necklaces, the sandals. Yeah, it's gonna happen. And plus, it's very humid in Thailand, so I don't blame you if you're not wearing any G-strings or banana hammocks. Yee. We had to take care with them. Better leave them to it. Not too near is better, says Carlos Rodway, a tourist from Cadiz, Spain, España, having previously been unceremoniously treated as a climbing frame by one audacious monkey. Well, humans are fun to fuck with, so why not? The festival is an annual tradition in Lopburi, the provincial capital, and held as a way to show gratitude to the monkeys for bringing in tourism. The good luck charms. Get those damn monkeys in. This year's theme is monkeys feeding monkeys. I don't like the sound of this already. An antidote to previous years where monkey participation had decreased due to high numbers of tourists, which intimidated the animals. Well, yeah, it's going to happen again, so history tends to repeat themselves. Yeah, know thy history or thyself, and know thy monkeys. Know what the monkeys like and what they don't like. You give them food, of course they're going to eat it. You give them too much people, yeah, pretty soon you'll get the guy who hunted Cecil the lion down. Is that guy still alive? I hope not. So that's our monkey story. Not too bad, not too weird, but it's kind of interesting to know that Thailand does this type of thing. I think we all agree, you know, we don't want to monkey around when monkeys are doing monkey business. I tell you, it's a monkey world out there, and monkeys, it's a monkey world. I tell you, monkeys in suits, you'll never see it because it's never gonna happen. Chimpanzees should not be wearing monkey suits. I mean, oh my god, they're skin shapers. Oh god, no. Terrible. All right, so that is just that. Listen, this is just the cream of the crop. If you're bored to tears already, this next one is going to keep you surprised and alert. Because, like I said, I haven't read these articles, and this next one, I didn't even try to read it. I just wanted to be just as surprised as you guys. So I hope you're ready. And then after that, we can talk about the AAA gaming stuff and all that, which I don't know how long that's going to take, but we'll try to get into it. Trying to make things a little quicker today on today's episode, but blah, 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 blah. Here we go. So, monkeys are done. This next one is a bit of shock and awe. It goes, I cut off my arm last year, and it was the best decision I ever made. I'll let that sink in for a bit. Okay, I'll read that again, now that we've all gathered ourselves and your ears have been perked up. I cut off my arm last year, and it was the best decision I ever made. Now, this could just blow up into something completely not even what I'm thinking. Maybe they had to cut off their arm, surgically or some kind of procedure in the doctor's office. But let's find out. My arm isn't missing, and I didn't lose it. It was strategically removed, and I'm doing it again on Friday. I worry for today's population, folks. 2022 is fucking insane. But let's not be too judgmental. Well, let's see. Sometimes you got to give an arm and a leg, hey, to get through this shit in Niko's content. Okay. Okay. It starts out with a quote. Best decision I ever made. I don't know. Those flower pants. That's definitely the worst decision you ever made. Who wears white pants with little flowers on? I haven't seen anybody do that. Was she from the fucking 90s? So best decision I ever made was what I said when I ingeniously used a spatula to keep my shower curtain closed. Okay. A little self-entitlement here. This is going to be fun. I also say it every time I buy a slice of pizza, and I always say whenever I choose the color pink. Okay, really self-gratifying yourself. Jesus. Narcissism, folks. Losing a limb narcissism. Is that a thing? Limpy limp. Now I look down at the short portion of my left arm, and that remains after I had it removed, most of it removed, and say it too. That's right, I had my left arm amputated several inches above the elbow nearly a year ago today, and it was the best decision I ever made. Yeah, I'm sure there were no other outliers or other decisions that came into play. It was just you, right? It was just you. You're perfect. Okay, I spent 6 years living with an arm that had zero motor function from the elbow to the fingertips after I was injured in a Vespa accident. Okay, now we're getting context. Picture one of those inflatable T-Rex costumes. The person wearing it knows the tail is there, but they keep knocking drinks over and tripping people nonetheless. When you're aware of something but have absolutely no control over what it does, that's my penis. I mean, it's time to Marie Kondo it. I don't know what that means. I had no guarantee life would be better as an amputee than it was with a paralyzed arm, but knew it was time to part with my arm as it sparked no joy. Well, you gotta think about it. Maybe we'll get into it later, but the question stands: did they exhaust every option to get their arm back to fighting shape? Did they try everything? Everything. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. Like witch doctors. No, I was kidding. No, but seriously, I understand stuff's not expensive. I mean, the stuff's not cheap. Shit, where am I? I think I'm having a stroke already. The stuff isn't cheap. Getting your arm amputated, I mean, I don't know anybody who got their arm amputated. I don't know how expensive it is, but I can only imagine anything done that extreme in the doctor's office or whatever, surgical area in the hospital. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a little expensive. And yeah, I'm curious to know if they exhausted all their options, because there is always a way to get electrical signals back to your arm. It's called virtual reality. It may be super expensive to do therapy-wise, but you can do it. Quadriplegics have done it. People in wheelchairs, man, they do VR. They have them standing up, or I can't remember if they have them standing up. They probably have them sitting first, but VR has them standing. So I guess they are standing, but they're kind of supported up so they don't fall. But the VR, you're tricking your brain thinking it can move its legs, and it sends the electrical signals back to the legs. And then eventually the legs understand. They're like, oh wow, this thing can start working. The generator's running again. And then you can do it without VR and you can move. I've seen it. It's crazy. I don't know how effective it was, but they were moving their feet, their legs. Now we gotta check about the penis. So anyway, now after I had my arm amputated in December 2021, there's just 7.5 inches of my arm left, but it serves me much more than the full-length version. Why don't you just get a bionic arm? That would be fucking sweet. About 2 months post-op, I was already using it to hold objects, something I could never do with my typical size paralyzed arm. I wedge whatever I need to in my armpit, and I use my little limb to secure it. It feels as natural to me as if we're using my now gone hand, and rest assured I almost always wear deodorant. Well, I'm really glad that that's important for us to know. But hey, what are you going to do? Do you think she does the axe method, the double pits to chesty? All she needs is one arm. One arm. I'd forgotten how useful it was to have 2 hands to hold things with. With the weight of my arm pre-op, it was hard for me to secure objects using my upper arm, so I primarily relied on my right hand. Post-amputation, my left arm's length is small, but it's mighty, and just long enough to reach the back of my head. Yeah, but that's gonna... Oh, whatever. Let's put some teeth on that thing. This means I can even put my hair up without asking my grumpy neighbor for help. Oh, it's the neighbor's fault. Well, yeah. Why don't you just learn how to put your hair up without asking your grumpy neighbor for help? No wonder they're fucking grumpy. Because they're dealing with you. Now you save them all the trouble. They're like, finally, she cut her arm off. Finally, someone heard me. Transitioning from an invisible to a visible disability eased much of the tension associated with sometimes needed assistance. Hey, I hope she just doesn't get phantom limb syndrome. That'd be pretty shitty and freaky. I used to dread asking anyone because, although my left arm was severely impaired, the most mismatched thing about me was my socks. I always looked relatively normal. Relatively normal, those are key words there. My 2 equal size and deceptively perfect seeming arms. Why would you... By the way, no 2 arms are the same length. That's a bullshit lie, and same with your legs. So this lady is deceiving herself and us. Yeah, zip it. Especially if it was something as uncomplicated as pressing the elevator button with my only functional hand was full. Why don't you use your damn feet? Use your feet. You got 2 other limbs? Hell yeah. How many times have we used our feet to help us when we're carrying stuff with our arms? Come on. Come on. Not even the feet. You can use other stuff. Use your butt or something. Come on. Get resourceful. Come on. The other day I got stuck, unable to zip the side zipper on my skort while in a public restroom. I think that meant to say skirt. Unless, ladies, what is a fucking skort? S-K-O-R-T? I'm not even going to look it up. I'm kind of scared. With zero embarrassment or explanations required, I asked the woman washing her hands beside me, help, please, inner crisis averted. I walked out with my pants up and my little pony undies a secret. Well, those flower pants weren't a secret. I wish you did keep them a secret. Hey, if an attractive lady like that, she is a pretty lady, she comes up to me, hey, can you help zip up my pants? I'm like, okay, sounds great to me. And then I might get slapped in the face, but it's worth it. My confidence increased after the amputation. As soon as I woke up from surgery, I FaceTimed a friend and laid down the truth to her. I look good with one arm as I dance in the hospital bed dressed in an oversized Lady Gaga tee and wearing one sock. Why would you freak out your FaceTime friend? Why would you contact a friend and not like your parents or something? Hey, mom and dad. I cut off my arm. As I dance in the hospital bed okay. My mom worried the pain meds might be responsible for my new mindset. Well, yeah. Since the medication wore off, I changed my tee a few times and put on a second sock, but I can't say that my views on my personal image have shifted. Why not? It's not a big deal if you shift your personal image. Oh, God, 2022 sucks. It's okay to have a different personal image than other people. It's okay to feel a little uncomfortable about something. You don't have to go with this completely positive note on everything. You just got rid of your fucking arm, and you're never going to get it back unless you go Adam Jensen style and get an augmented limb or bionic arm. But it's okay to have your personal image shifted. You don't have to beat back what society... whatever, right? It's just a whole bunch of shit. I look in the mirror and I like what I see. Sure you do. I look familiar again. How do you look familiar again? I feel most beautiful when I look and I feel like myself. How? You lost a limb. You don't feel like yourself anymore. You're a new person pretty much. Well, you're one less limb of a person. Don't fake it till you make it. Aesthetically, it doesn't matter how many arms I have. Well, you don't know that. You don't know that. What if you had 6 arms? You got whatever. Like, you don't fucking know. What if you just had no arms? Yeah, you don't know. For me, it was about having agency over what my own disability could bring me. Remember, you gave yourself that disability. Not the paralyzed arm, but cutting your arm off. Disability innately robs you of bodily autonomy. Here I had something I could do to let me choose how I wanted to live my battles. So far, I haven't tried to cover this arm once. Yeah, it's fine. On the contrary, this summer I thrived in tank talks. Proud of how animated this little arm is now. I'm an Italian who can finally talk with both hands. Wow. Really coming out of the Italian closet now. When I'm out with friends and holding a drink, I can keep up with the conversation with my personality on full throttle. Yeah, don't worry. I'm sure you get. I don't think. Yeah, I doubt you don't get many strange looks, right? I'm sure you don't get many strange looks. I meant to say. To outsiders, it looks like I'm flagging down a race car as I swish my short, unbending arm up and down. I expect to have new and many more gazes on me that I had when I was living with two typical size arms, but I chose to embrace these looks and stares. There's not. Look, you're different from other people. It's fine. I get it. I technically had one arm for these past 7 years. Biology, your biology says other words. You have two limbs attached to you. 2 arms. You had 2 arms. One didn't work, but hey, it's still a thing. It's still an arm, and you still were having 2 arms. For the 6 pre-amputation, I was concealing a genuine part of me. Now I'm not. All right, I get it. I get it. First time someone audibly noted my appearance was at Target shortly after surgery. A tween girl passed me. What? I don't even know what these mean. I know tween, but teenage teen or whatever. Just say teenager. God damn. And loud whispered to her mom, I feel bad for that girl. She's missing an arm. I wanted her to understand that in my specific case, it wasn't something to regret, so I did a double take. They should feel bad for you. You gave up an arm. It's a sacrifice people are not willing to make. Yeah, that's fine. That's a normal reaction. Went up to her and calmly explained that it was nothing to feel bad about. Oh, like that helps. What are you going to pat her on the back? Nub her on the back? Yeah, that's not going to happen. Hey, nub jokes. So I feel happier now. I told her when I had 2 arms, I felt trapped by the one. Yeah, you really told her all this. Okay, we get the idea. I'm getting sick of it. Look at all these pictures of her. Whoa, look, Mom, no hand. All right. We get it. She's happier than she's ever was before the accident and after. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know about before the accident. So there you go, guys. That's what you have to look forward to. It's all about positivity and not feeling freaked out that you don't have an arm missing. Look. Something like this, you don't just get over overnight. I don't know. But in my eyes, and my personal opinion, phantom limb syndrome is a pain in the ass, I bet. And it's something to not take lightly. So faking it until you make it is not a smart thing. Honestly, I would like to have my other arm back so I can pretty much do all the things I was able to do with 2 arms. Granted, she didn't have one arm working. But like I said, like I asked before, did she exhaust all her options? Did she get the proper therapy? Of course, that's never said in these articles. Of course, we don't know the decisions that were actually made before coming to this. We don't know all the sources and the whatever, the whispers that she mentioned, you know. We don't know that. That's how they do it. They always leave out the juicy stuff. And in this case, she left out an arm of a story. A hand. A limb, I don't know anymore. Anyway, before I go to hell even further, let's go back to what we're talking about. So there you go, folks. That is it for those 2 articles. We talked about monkeys and we talked about limbless people. Well, that sounds pretty butcherous, doesn't it? I'm very barbaric today. Okay. So, now getting back to it. Video games in general. Okay. Majority of us, if anybody's listening to this, I appreciate it, but majority of us love video games. If you're coming to watch me, you probably know somebody who plays a lot of video games. You probably play a lot of video games. And you probably know that somebody or yourself that has spent a good amount of money on video games, right? We all know the AAA pricing can be pretty expensive. We all know the Steam sales or sales on games in general. There's so many sales, it just stacks up to where the equivalent adds up to the price of a AAA. But we're talking about AAA games in its entirety, the sole AAA, like the name itself, and why I think that people should be more wary and more cautious about this. Now, it's kind of, I know, it may sound like a lame thing to discuss, but this is a serious problem because modern gaming has been really fucked up in the past decade. Ever since modern gaming knew how to bank on not making games feel like AAA, and you're spending the money and you're spending on battle passes, useless DLC, buying a game where all the features are not even in the game to begin with. That's a fucking problem. That's not even a problem. That's a sickness, and it needs to stop. That's what I'm trying to say here. And honestly, it's tough for it to stop because hype and marketing, they go hand in hand. They are literally hand in hand. And it's so hard to fight against that type of marketing and type of hype for a game that just, to you personally, subjectively, it looks good and you'll want it. You want to be the first one. It's not just video games where we do this, where we spend the hefty price. It's on everything in life. A new car, a new stupid-ass iPhone, video games, music, movies. It doesn't matter. We always want to get that excitement to get it on day one. But should we always blindly go into it? I want to ask you guys this, and let me know down below. How are you handling AAA games? Do you buy it day one all the time? Do you buy it occasionally on day one, depending on what type of franchise, what game is coming out, how confident you are? Maybe you've done the research, and good luck for you. Or you just don't ever buy AAA games or full price games at launch because you know that it's not going to be. Knowing the track record for video games nowadays, especially AAA titles, you know for a fact it's going to be a piece of shit coming out of the gate. Or close to a piece of shit, half-baked, not even baked, quarter-baked, it doesn't matter, in the oven. It just needs more time in the oven, bacon. And sometimes it's not entirely our fault that we see all the marketing, we like what we saw, and we want to just go in. We're taking the gamble. Okay, so maybe the gamble is partially our fault. I'm not trying to make excuses here, but it's really fucked up, and we do feel betrayed and upset when we feel stupid when we spend this amount of money on a AAA title that's not what you paid for. You feel cheated, you feel wronged, you felt like you were lied to, but at the same time, ultimately, you lied to yourself. You brought this illusion up on yourself because you fell for the oldest trick in the book. You fell for the oldest trick in the book. You were caught red-handed. Your wallet has been burning ever so brightly because, your money's gone because of that, because of the burn. So, why is it that we always do this? Why do we always fall for it? Well, I already mentioned it pretty much. It's like I said, it's the way they do the advertising, it's the way they do the marketing. They make it look good. And there's some prime examples. There's one prime example. It's actually the main reason why I brought this to discuss with you guys. Is because it's just like, look, we need to have this conversation. And we're not the only ones I'm not the only one having this conversation. But if you see people not talking about it, you need to talk about it. You need to make a video on it. You need to post about it. You need to be like, this is why we don't spend money on AAA titles. Because the publishers and the developers, they're never working in tandem with one another. They're never synergistic. It's always one or the other. Sometimes both parties that try to just take every ounce of chump change you have. Whatever's left over. That $70 you spent on a broken-ass game is costing you. Is costing you big time. You could have got another game that could have been good. But nowadays, with me personally, when I look at AAA titles, and I've been a lot better lately doing my research, but there are some titles where I will spend the full price because I'm a fanboy. But that's how it is. That's the necessary. That's the would it be a necessary evil? I guess the uncouth circumstances. Because I'm a fanboy, I bought the new Pokemon game, and people made hundreds of videos. I'm imagining, and a bunch of articles talking about how not optimized that game was out the gate. It was on old ass 5-year-old Switch hardware. Where if you've seen a Switch game, the only Nintendo games that look good are like the Mario Karts, Mario World, Zelda. And you think Pokemon, but people are double dipping. The Game Freak, double dipping. Anyway, you just need to know that it was just a messy. I wouldn't say bugged for me, but most people found a lot of bugs. I don't get it. I didn't find anything game breaking. The only thing I had trouble with was textures or models popping in, and then the frame slowdown. That's a problem. Now, it wasn't always just atrocious, but there were some areas where you're like, what the heck? This should have been out a month later or something, So maybe a couple months. But that's a prime example because a lot of people were very upset with that. A lot of people asked for refunds on the Pokemon Scarlet Violet game. And yeah, I can understand why they were upset. But At the same time, if you go by the track record, you go with the history, you go with the knowledge of what you have for gaming, and you try to rationalize your purchase as best you can, you won't feel as disappointed. You won't. My thing is, I'll admit, I was super hyped for this game, and I think this is one of my favorite Pokemon games of all time, and I think it is one of the greatest Pokemon games of all time, despite all the performance issues. And I'm glad I spent the $60. Well, it was a birthday gift, so I lucked out on that. Does it count? Yeah, because I spent $60 on other Pokemon games too, and my own money, and I had a blast playing them, and I don't regret it. Now, let's come up with another example. This is the main reason why I wanted to discuss this, was Callisto Protocol. Now, I made a video on this talking about how Callisto Protocol is a mixed bag, and this is what the critics are saying. This is what I'm saying. Not the shameless plug, but this is like, the next step. Callisto Protocol was a spiritual successor to Dead Space, okay? You had the guys, or maybe one guy, a few guys that came from the team that made Dead Space, and they're in their own company, have a different publisher, everything's brand spanking new, and they're coming out with a brand new IP, pretty much. It's a horror game, it will remind you of Dead Space. Okay, so now we get the picture. Spooky third-person shooter game, okay? Sci-fi, I should say. And it looked awesome. It looked great. Advertising was spot on. It looked like a lot of fun. They had their own podcast going. I think they even have their own books of the game. They were They were doing a lot. They were putting so much into the marketing. So much money went into this, especially when you have a podcast. And the podcast is pretty great to listen to. You might like that more than the game, apparently. Coincidentally or unfortunately, I don't know. You pick the word. And then books or whatever, right? Listen, deep down, you know what these companies do to advertise this shit. Even if it doesn't pay off in the end, they know how to make it look good. But sometimes they can't get away with it. Sometimes they get caught with their pants down and they're like, oh fuck, we fucked up. And people get real suspicious with that shit. Cyberpunk, I'm looking at you. Fuck you guys. But hey, I can't wait to play Witcher 3 Next Gen Edition. So thanks. I'll play a game that I know is already fun and you guys are just going to make it much more prettier and change really nothing in terms of, what we see in a good game. The game will still be good in the end because it's not changing it. But games like Cyberpunk, games like Halo Infinite, Battlefield 2042. I know you're going to say Halo Infinite was free to play, but Jesus Christ, it paid the hefty price for being free to play. And the campaign is $60, which is unbelievably expensive for a game that's absolute dog shit for the majority of the time. And then you have a Callisto Protocol example that comes out. It wasn't even I don't even know why this was a AAA price game, because this is from a company that doesn't make AAA games. In fact, this was probably their first game. It was Striking Distance Studios. I think Krafton's like the Korean publisher company. The same publisher company for PlayerUnknown's Battleground. But anyway, it turns out to be a mixed bag. And how does that make you feel in the end? When you're so hyped up to play something that you just get so excited about, and it's, wow, I feel betrayed. Now, I don't want to blame the gamer entirely. It's both parties' fault. I, of course, will always shift the blame on the company that promised me to give me something my money's worth, and then it turns out it's not. And it makes me feel even stupider because I spent the $60 to $70, maybe even $80, $90 if you bought the deluxe edition, almost $100 fucking dollars for a mixed bag. That's a problem. That's a problem in the gaming world and consumers in general when it comes to buying video games. That's a fucking problem that needs to stop. You guys need to stop and do the homework. Do your research. Did you have such faith in the main thing that threw me off was the $70. That's what I thought was suspicious, because this game, as good as it looked graphically and stuff, this is a game that from a company that's never done this before. That's never released a game from this company. That's something you need to look out for. There's red flags everywhere here. And then, like I said, lo and behold, it was a schlock. Anyway, so this is why there's only a few AAA games that I have faith in, or companies that I know I'm going to have a good time. Usually, majority of the time, Nintendo releases bangers. Every time it's like a first-party Nintendo game. It's always awesome. It always gets great reviews. Unfortunately, Pokemon Scarlet Violet, Game Freak did a horrible job with performance issues. It didn't bother me as much as everybody else, and I didn't get any of those bugs. But besides the point, for the people that did experience that, it's not fair to them. They were hyped as shit for this. It looked awesome. Open world Pokemon game? Fuck yeah, and it is a fucking fun game. I can't stress it enough. But when you're going to play Halo Infinite, you're gonna spend $60 on a game that's not even there. It's not even a game. On Battlefield 2042, on Cyberpunk, on No Man's Sky. Don't forget No Man's Sky. I never forgave those motherfuckers. I bought that game day one. I think it was like, I don't remember if it was a AAA price, but I spent whatever the full amount was at the time when it came out. And unfortunately, I was so shafted by that game, I barely touched it ever since. And it came out in 2016, 6 years later. I barely have 10 hours into the fucking game. Because it's just, this is what you're giving me. This is what you gave me at the time. This is what you promised me. You made all these bullshit lies, and this is what you give me? Fuck you. You know? Fuck you. And that's why I say to these companies, fuck them. Look, you talk with your wallet. That's the best way to do this. You don't want this game on day one? Fine. You know it's going to be, okay, it might be a mixed bag. You're like, this game looks somewhat interesting. I'm going to see what people say. I'm a little suspicious about it, or with it. I'm going to wait till what the reviews say. These are good things to do. Don't buy things on impulse. Like I said, there's only a few games that I will always buy full price because I haven't been let down since, or ever. And I'm willing to take that gamble. But I will know deep down if I get screwed over from it, I have no one else to blame but myself for believing these assholes, these pieces of shit game developers or publishers that promised to give me something they didn't. Now, it's not entirely my fault, but me having such faith and reliance on, it's just, you get it. And you can apply this, right, to any fucking thing you buy. A new car, a new electronic device, a new computer, a new bicycle or something. When you're not guaranteed a stable, full package product, which is really hard to prove in video games when you're taking it to a court of law, because those lawyers know how to find all the loopholes with those games because they're so complicated and so complex in how they're made. They can just flip the script on one little thing and it just omits the entire case, the whole suit. But besides that, when you're getting something, if it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good. It's no bullshit. You're able to try it out. This is why it's important to do the wait and see approach. Test drive the car. Let's just say we're buying a car. We always test drive the car. We always like to look. We see a car on the outside, and they always look great. They always look nice, spick and span. But when we get inside, we're like, ugh, what the fuck is this? Like, this car is awful. I don't want a beige interior. My car is beige interior, but used cars. What do you do? It's a Honda. It works. I'm gonna be driving that thing to the fucking ground. But anyway, it's like that, right? You got to do this same philosophy for AAA games. Now, like I said, I get hyped for this stuff, but for the people that get so overhyped, like the people that got so overhyped for Elden Ring, for Cyberpunk, for Halo Infinite, those people that are such diehard fanboys, like I could be a fanboy of something, but I know how to hold it back. I know how to go in composed and understanding what I'm about to do might be a mistake or something. I go in with not blind optimism. I go with a cautiously optimistic viewpoint. I try to give these guys benefit of the doubt, but sometimes, actually, modern gaming has made it really fucking hard. In fact, it's almost impossible. Now it's up to indie developers to hopefully they give you a more complete product. Hopefully. Listen, I ain't asking for much. If we're talking about Halo Infinite, just give me the game with the game modes that have always been in the Halo. Give me the split screen. Give me the stuff that's been in the game since the dawn of the creation of this series, right? Holy fuck. How hard is that to do, you pieces of crap? You got to do that with all the other modern games too. So anyway, and speaking of which, my friend that I stream Twitch, right? I go on Twitch, I stream games all the time, or TV shows or anime or something. Yeah, anime, you heard me. I can get away with it because I own it, which helps a little bit, I think. But we talked about Callisto Protocol a little bit, and he's like, anybody who buys a AAA price game out the gate is like, it's stupid to do. And I agreed with him, and I feel stupid for doing it some of the times. But sometimes I'll do it when there's enough proof that I know this game is going to be good. Listen, I spent full price on Baldur's Gate 3, and that game is not even out yet. It's been technically out for 2 years, early access still, and it comes out full release next year. But the thing is about Baldur's Gate 3 that was different is there was so much transparency. Let me give you even a prime example of Baldur's Gate 3. The creator, the Sven guy from from Belgium, okay? This guy was literally playing on his computer at a gaming convention. I don't know if it was E3 or PAX or whatever, PC Gamer, it doesn't matter. He was literally playing on the computer like a demo, showing people step by step by step. It was about as real as you could get. No fluff, nothing. The guy was charming. He was cool about it. He talked about the flaws, the things that shouldn't be there, should be there, all the mistakes and little, the diamond in the rough type stuff. And it was great. That's how I knew that this guy wasn't bullshitting me on his product. And guess what? I supported him. I spent the full $60. And even though it was early access, there's 3 acts, and you only get to do the first act as close as you can get to the first act of completion. It was a fucking blast. And that was when the early access came out. Or I bought it like a month later. And it was so much fun. I already have 100 hours into the game. And the full game is not even out. And it's so much fun to go back and make new characters and go back and forth and see all the new features that they add and stuff. And every time they add something new, they show an entire Twitch stream show called Panel from Hell. And they literally play the game, and they have this. They dress up. They're LARPing. I know it's nerdy, but it's a Dungeons and Dragons game. What do you fucking expect? But these guys are not bullshitting you. And I wish, even though they're charging AAA price, Larian Studios has given us great games in the past. And I know what goes up must definitely fucking come down, like from Witcher 3 to Cyberpunk with CD Projekt Red. Fucking A, dude. Talking about a huge decline in quality. But besides that, we were just saw everything they were doing. They were so open about it. I wish, and they publish their own games too. They're a publisher and a developer, and I'm so glad that they have their souls still. They don't let EAs, they don't let the Activisions, they don't let the Microsofts, yada yada yada, take control. So that's what you got to look out for. You got to look at the transparency of it all. I keep stressing it up. You got to do the research. Do the fucking research. It's okay to get excited. It's okay to be hyped up about something that you want to see. But by golly, Miss Molly, don't fucking go in with rose-tinted glasses. At least keep one spectacle rose-tinted. You can do that. But the other half, you got to see through. The bullshit meter is probably going to be fucking exploding right now. You got to measure that. So, with that said, these are just ways you can do. These are ways we can, tackle back against these pieces of shit companies that charge us an arm and a leg for. Hey, we talked about losing an arm earlier the other day. Paradox stream or episode. But this is what we have to do. Unfortunately, it's so hard to do because these publishers, when people, they don't care with the quality. All they care is about the sale. You buy it, it counts. They don't care about the quality optimization. If they just want it out there the day they require it. And that's all they look for. They don't care how people are cheated. These publishers do not give a rat's piss about your feelings or any of that and your consumer, how much you spent. Not yet. They're going to care when they keep getting cheated. Like Activision Blizzard, like EA, like Microsoft. Oh, yeah. They're not going to get away with that shit. People are already talking with their money on most things. But goddamn, man, we need to learn our lesson. We need to stop giving in to the compulsions and just the impulses and just holy shit, just see things clearly. But this is pretty much what I wanted to talk about and why AAA games we just need to learn to just tone it down. It was pretty much the 101 to AAA pricing and why it's bad. And look, I do want to support these companies that spend so much work on these games, but it's always the fucking publishers that absolutely destroy the reputation of these developers. Unless you're CG Projekt Red and you develop Cyberpunk and you publish it and you're a piece of shit in the end anyway. But for some companies, like I would hate to see Obsidian. I would hate to see Larian Studios. Obsidian's owned by Microsoft, but originally there was just... they went through so many different publishers, but they managed to make their own games and all unique. I don't want a Halo Infinite situation. I don't want a Cyberpunk. I don't want a performance issue related thing with Pokemon Scarlet Violet. I don't want a soulless game like Callisto Protocol. I want a complete full game if I'm spending the goddamn AAA price. These things aren't cheap. And if anybody says they're cheap and they can spend $60 willy-nilly, you have a... Listen to me right now. You have a fucking problem. If you don't see it as a problem, if you don't see that paying for DLC on story-related stuff or extra game modes or animations, extra death animations and enemy animations, if you don't see that as a problem and only a bonus, you need to fucking check yourself out in the mirror or just stop. You just need to stop and just lose a testicle along the way. Because that shit is where we are. That's a big red flag. Yeah, I made a video talking about the season pass of Callisto Protocol before the mixed bag video of Callisto Protocol. And I got people, and this is the blind optimism. Because a developer said, hey, this is something the fans want. Yeah, blame the fans right away, like Ryan Johnson did with The Last Jedi, right? It's all the fans' fault. It's the fans' fault why we're doing these animations. They wanted more, more, more. This is something that we're going to be making down the line. Blah, blah, blah. Season pass this. Oh, it's going to be fine. And these shills, these fucking drones will just eat it up and not question it. They don't question it. That's a problem. You don't fucking question anything. Question it. Why don't you question it? Why are you closed? No, just kidding. You have to question. I'm just being passionate right now, folks, so bear with me. But yeah, you gotta understand. You're paying with your money. And look what happened. The game was a mixed bag to begin with. So how do you know they're telling the fucking truth? When they're saying, like, these animations are post, everything's already there. No, it's not. When you get mixed reviews, when you get mixed 46% views at the time when I made that Callisto Protocol video about the mixed bag stuff. On Steam, when they complain about performance issues, the game's quality, the game sucks, it's not this, it's not that. And, you know, majority, there's like a few that say it's okay. Those are the people that are shills, that are diehard fans, that they don't fucking care. They're in denial. Why are you in denial? Stop being in denial. Just admit that you made a mistake. It's okay to feel stupid and embarrassed. Stop faking it till you make it on stuff like this because you're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep thinking you're okay with this shit. No. And then guess what? A month from now, that game's going to be half off. It's going to be, instead of $70, it's going to be $40. And then 30, and then 20, and then holy shit, you realize that you spent all that money on an okay product. Maybe okay. And that's what I have a problem with, mostly with AAA titles and the people that buy it all the fucking time. Look at games like Gotham Knights, for example. That's a AAA priced game for a game that people were sus as fuck about for the entire time. And that when that came out, it was riddled with bugs, riddled with performance issues. It's always going to happen. It's always going to happen. It's always going to happen. And the biggest game I'm worried about coming out next is Diablo 4. Once again, AAA game price, I believe, or close to it, and reputation of Activision Blizzard on their quality of games. Yeah, great. But I'm going in, now with rose-tinted glasses. I'm going to have my fucking helmet, my musket, and fucking tampons or something, because I'm going to be crying once I figure out the bullshit that is Activision Blizzard when they come out and screw us in the ass once again. But hey, this is going to be the last screw in the ass, because I have no more faith into Blizzard anything. If they screw me on Diablo 4, get fucked, bro. Anyway, folks, that's what I wanted to talk about. In the end, AAA pricing is... I might have done an episode on talking something close to this with hype, with all the remasters, remakes, and stuff, and yada, yada, yada. But hey, I wanted to just really narrow it down and let you guys know that this is serious stuff. Modern gaming, these publishers and developers, they need to learn their lesson. They need to stop. Look at fucking Rockstar with Grand Theft Auto 5. Thanks to you guys to keep making it. And you know when Todd Howard or the people behind Bethesda keep releasing Skyrim games? Yeah, that's because there's still a market to be had and they're making a butt-fuck ton of money. So if you want them to stop and you want them to actually work on Elder Scrolls 6 and not Starfield, which I hope does well, stop buying Skyrim. Speak with your wallet. But hey, it's hard. Skyrim is a really fun fucking game. And there's always good prices and sales on it. So... it's tough. It is tough. I understand. Nobody is immune to this. Everybody fucking collapses under the full price pressure because, like I said, it's all about the hype. It's all about having it on the day one. It's all about enjoying the experience with your friends. Who knows what things tie into it. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed what I had to talk about today. I got a little passionate, but that's because I'm passionate. There, I made it easy. We talked about monkeys. We talked about people losing limbs. We talked about people losing wallet limbs thanks to AAA pricing and yada, yada, yada. I'm just looking out for you guys. And for anybody who's hearing me this and understands why I'm saying this, where I'm coming from, I'm glad. And for those of you who think I'm a complete lunatic or idiot, well, I think you need to look at yourself in the mirror and realize that you're the idiot for thinking I'm an idiot because, well, it takes one to know one, right? There's nothing wrong with both of us being idiots. It's okay to feel embarrassed. It's okay. Nobody's watching. It's just you and your inner demon, your inner gaming demons. Apparently, your inner Diablos or your inner I can't even think of Diablo names. The Deathwings, you know, just relax. Just calm down. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to get the game on day one. It's okay. Breathe into a bag once in a while. Mine's my colostomy bag. So, folks, appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for being here. I have been your host, NikoTheLegend, also known as the well-mannered teenager, the snowflake, rambling idiot, and vigil. I appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. It means a lot. Whatever. I don't care if you give me the middle finger or anything. Just something. Like, share the video as best you can. I know I should be saying this in the beginning of the video, but here we are at the end. And next time, we will get Carolyn sooner or later. Like I said, things are busy. She's got a really busy schedule you wouldn't believe, and it's got to be perfect. It's almost like once a blue moon, but it does happen. It will happen. And the next episode with her is going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to go back to live streaming the Niko show when that does happen. So that's very exciting. See, this is where I turn on the soundboard for, yay, we're doing it, woo, right? But we don't have that. So clap, 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 clap. There you go. Anyway, take care, Pathfinders. I hope you do enjoy whatever game that you decide to spend your hard-earned money on. Just be careful and just watch where you're going, pretty much. Watch where you're going, because danger lurks around every corner when it comes to modern gaming these days with these publishers and developers.